Okay, good morning. This is Saturday the 29th of August and we're at Wigmore Castle. So, just to give you a bit of history, this castle was built shortly after the Norman invasion by a man called William Phillips Osborne, and he was William the Conqueror's right-hand man. So obviously the location was picked because of its geographical and strategic location. So you can see we're surrounded by very steep ridges. The original structure, it looks like, was built using reinforced timber. That's the highest keep here. This was also a keep. That was the original entrance. So the original keep, the original structure was built with reinforced timber. Let's just have a wander down here, darling, shall we? And then it was later expanded with stone in the 12th and 13th century. So it was originally built by the Normans in this location because we're very near the English-Welsh border. So it was built by the Normans to fend off the attacks from the Welsh. This here was apparently the Lord's apartment here. So after the death of William, the castle passed to a family called the Mortimer's family, and they were a very prominent aristocratic family for the best part of 500 years. And they actually held an enormous amount of land in central Wales, and really they were one of the most prominent families in England and Wales for a very long time. Just a note on the family itself. So in 1327 the head of the Mortimer family called Roger Mortimer, also known as the first Earl of March, he was conspiring with Queen Isabella against her husband, the King Edward II, to take the throne. Now, according to legend, Edward II was actually killed by having a hot rod or poker shoved up his rectum, which is extremely painful. But in recent years, it's believed that he was forced to abdicate the throne and actually held prisoner at Berkeley Castle. So from 327, this man Roger, he basically became de facto ruler of England because Edward III, son of Edward II, he was next in line for the throne. He was next in the line of succession, but he was too young to rule. So this man Roger basically became steward of England. And then in 329, at this very castle, Roger actually held a tournament. It would appear some kind of jousting tournament in which Queen Isabella and her son Edward III, they actually came in 329 at this very castle. And then a year later, in 1330, Edward III asserted his authority, and he had Roger arrested and executed for sedition and treason against his father. So very interesting. And he actually seized this castle for a short period of time, so it was seized by the crown. And then what happened was, the main residence of the Mortimer family, at least temporarily, moved to Ludlow Castle. And then this castle was eventually given back to the family. Fast forward a couple of hundred years to the English Civil War. Now, the Mortimer family were basically disestablishmentarians, which is a posh way of saying they supported democracy. They were parliamentarians, and they couldn't defend this castle. So what they did was they destroyed part of the castle and then abandoned it so it couldn't be used by the royalists. So really, since the English Civil War, this castle has been left largely abandoned, hence why it's overgrown. And then in the 1990s, it was then taken over by the English Heritage Foundation, and that brings us to today. So that's a nice short history of this wonderful structure. Let's just get a quick shot from the front. And it's a beautiful day. Rebecca doesn't want me to get her in the video, so I won't. There you go.